Hi everybody, we're here in Call of Duty's Warzone on PlayStation 4 with a solo victory in the buyback game mode that they pop up occasionally. But it can be frustrating buyback because you end up with lots of people coming back into the game, but it also gives you lots of second chances. In fact, in this game, I died twice before I eventually got on to win. So, where do we drop? So, as usual, I wait for the circle to appear, and it's a case of, going somewhere reasonably far away from the flight path that will probably be quiet. With this sort of circle, though, where the advantage is to jump into the circle, chances are, unless you go a long way, you're always going to bump into someone. In fact, what happens to me is pretty early on, I bump into someone and lose an early gunfight. And if you've seen my early my other kind of Warzone videos and PUBG videos, actually, in many of the battle royales, I think a lot of the time you're probably better off trying to avoid early gunfights, simply because at this point the server is under an awful lot of pressure. With hundreds of players on it, all firing at each other, throwing explosives, and the server's trying to keep on track of this, so the ping rate or the update rate of the server will have to be very, very slow, which means that those early gunfights can be pretty random. A lot of the time you think, well, why did I lose that? That was a 50-50. So now I kind of think, okay, well, let's go even further away from let's go from the original flight path. So this is probably where I should have gone to start off with. I tend to come to these sets of houses quite a lot because there's a buy station around here as well, but it's not marked on the map, and you can only get a fairly decent loadout. Now with myself, what I'm trying to do most of the time is really just get armor. I'm not really that bothered about the guns I get, because it's all about trying to get that first weapon loadout, the first custom loadout that drops 15 seconds before the first circle closes, and then I can get my perks with my Ghost, Cold-Blooded, and I tend to use Amped at the moment because I'm running the Kilo and the RPG. However, what I decide to do is I get tracked by an enemy player, so someone's going to come looking for me. So I think, tell you what, it might be a good idea to hang on to the riot shield, because being a bit of a camper a lot of the time, I tend to sit in corners a lot, as you'll kind of see. And if you're being tracked, you can just sit in the corner with your shield up, and they're not going to be able to get you. I mean, what they would have to do is fire an RPG above your head or something like that. So anyway, I start making my way into the centre of the circle, and then this kind of happens. Now, so I let this guy go because I want to buy a gas mask. It's one of the very important things. In fact, in solos now, the gas mask is the most important thing to get. And then I try and shoot him. I must admit, my first shots probably aren't that great, but watch when he shoots back at me. Look how wild my screen goes. And then if you look at his recoil, I think he's using a... Yeah. In fact, he's using my favourite scope there. I think it's this... is it the Solero? I always used to use this. That's the ice cream, isn't it? Solero. Anyway, it's a really good 3.5 times scope. I used to use that on my M4. So now I'm like, where do I go now? So whenever I spawn back in whether it's with winning a gulag or in buyback where you just spawn in, I tend to pop the shoot straight away. So you're just floating around, then I have a good look around the minimap, and I'm like, okay, maybe this place would be a good place to start, because you just want somewhere that maybe hasn't been looted. Now I get very, very lucky at this point, because as you can see, there's obviously been a gunfight, and there's a sniper rifle and an assault rifle and plenty of ammunition. So I've landed on my feet. I grab a few more things, and I'm as I say, I'm really, really lucky. The only thing I'm low on is, as you can see in the bottom left corner, is armor. So the circle's starting to come in. So now I'm really just thinking, well, I'm okay for weapons. A custom loot drop has come down, but it's on the far side of the circle. There's no point in trying to get that. But these guys are having a firefight, so I'll let him kill him. And then this guy must have been weak, because I shoot him in the legs. That gets rid of his last of his armour. He crawls around the corner, and I finish him off. Then I think, well, I really need to get his stuff. I need specifically armour, and as I'm running down, this guy comes out. I'm going to take this guy out, and lo and behold, now look, I've got all the armour I could ever want. There's an armour satchel, there's a gas mask, there's everything I can have. So now I'm like, alright, this is cool. So the only thing I'm really missing now would be, the ghost perk to stay off UAVs and to stay off heartbeat sensors. But, it's not the end of the world. So now it's all about just looking at this mini-map and thinking, alright, where's the circle going to go? Where will the other enemies be? And then just playing the edge of the circle. We're kind of down below the dam. The dam's on my left right now, and then I hear footsteps to my left. So we get this guy, and the frozen river's off to our left, and then you've got the houses up the hill to my right. So now it's thinking where would be now. I'm checking with my heartbeat sensor. Often at this stage of the game, everybody's got ghost on, but I'm thinking there's got to be someone over there. There's got to be someone over there. So I'm checking over there, and then I see a chap, and I have a go in with my sniper rifle. Here he comes. Now, as you'll see, I'm not very good with a bolt action unless people are sitting very, 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 very still. I managed to miss him a few times. But if you look in the top left-hand corner, look where the circle's gone now. So I'm just keeping an eye. So now I'm dropping my marker in the centre of the circle, and I'm thinking, if they've all gone to the houses, because people really like to go to the houses, don't they? I need to go now. If I go early and get in position early down by the riverbank, just keep an eye to see if that guy pops back out. All those other guys who are going to be coming out of the buildings are all going to be firing each other. So I drop down to the riverbank, so I've got some cover from the buildings, and then I'm just looking, right, where's the best bit of cover going to be? Where's the best bit of cover going to be? Where can I kind of chill out and wait, for the circle to come in? So I find this rock, I'm just about in, and they've all got to start coming out of the houses now, because I know there's nobody to my left, nobody to my right, because right, that's where I've been, left, that's where the other guy was. And now it's just a case of waiting and watching and just keeping my head down, keep wiggling, just to make sure nobody can headshot me. Because if those guys are in the houses, now they're not going to move. Nobody's going to move yet till the circle changes, but they can probably hear each other kind of crawling around, and then maybe they've got heartbeat sensors. So now it's just a case of watching, right? And then when the circle pops in this mode, the circle doesn't move, it just gets smaller. They all stop, right at this point, they start shooting each other. And there we go. They're shooting each other again. I think there's one guy left at this point. He's coming out of the gas, so he's going to be weak. And then we go. Then we got the Warzone victory. So there we go. Buybacks can be really exciting. Tends to lead to more kills. What made it for me in this particular one was the fact that when I parachuted to that building, I got some really good weapons, didn't I? And then I had some firefights around me that I was able to third party and then pick up the armour. But it shows you try and play a little bit intelligently, and sometimes the luck will come to you. But there we go. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of this same, press subscribe. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.